Hey y'all, I've got echo. Hold on. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Echo. Echo. Let's see. Hold on just a second. I'm addressing this. Oh, I know where it's coming from. Hold on. Let me turn these speakers off. There we go. That is about to be addressed. Hello? Hello. Okay, there we go. Fixed it. Sorry for the temporary studio malfunction. That is one of the minor inconveniences associated with running a low-budget YouTube channel. So again, I'm a growing channel. I wanted to thank everyone. I have seen a few contributions on Patreon. You can check out patreon.com/IrixGuy. Again, completely voluntary if you choose to do so. It definitely helps with my production. So that's greatly appreciated, everyone that has supported me on Patreon. And again, it doesn't have to be Patreon. Supporting me is as simple as watching a live show, commenting on a live show, watching my videos, sharing my videos, liking my videos. You know, sometimes maybe even posting a comment that's less than positive. Because, you know, keeping it real is important. And that's a show of respect. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to get my water. Hold on just a second. It's hot out here on this beach. So I'm grab me some water here. And we're going to rock and roll. Got a lot of people tuning in. Oh, yeah. Quality H2O. Can't beat it. Yep, a lot of people tuning in here. We're going to talk about several things. Again, IrixGuy's live show. No structured agenda. Just a live show where we talk about everything. Everything from drones to cameras to travel or any topics that you may want to talk about. And again, keep everything appropriate for all age groups. You know, this channel is not a channel that's intended to alienate anyone. This channel is for everyone. It's for y'all. So, I want to talk about something right off the bat here, and that's these batteries. This is the Mavic Air battery, and it's received quite a bit of I don't want to say negative exposure, but it's received quite a bit of comments. People are like, man, the Mavic Air, you know, it's so cool, it's so portable, it's so small, it's so lightweight. But those batteries, man, they don't have enough battery life. And again, that's where we're all subject to our own opinion. And this right here, I can get a solid 15 minutes. And filming a YouTube video, it's about 5 minutes in duration. I can easily get one video. I can shoot, hey, Sean Coonery, live show, yep. I can shoot a second video if I want to. That puts me up to around 10 minutes. And if I want to shoot a third, I can. And that puts me up to around 15 minutes. So in real world conditions, to be able to get, to be able to film three solid full duration YouTube videos with one battery, that's incredible. And the best part is these batteries for the Mavic Air, they are so small and they're so lightweight. Look at that. There's 3 of them right there. And I've got the 4th one in my drone. So to be able to have that much power, real world conditions, this is probably, and again, a very conservative estimate of 15 minutes per battery. So 15 times 3 is 45. This in my hands right here fully charged is a very conservative 45 minutes. Realistically, probably well over 50 or 55 minutes in extreme flying conditions. So, super duper cool. Still loving the Mavic Air, but with that being said, you know, I'm always looking for what's next. And that obviously is the Mavic Pro 2. Not sure if we're going to see Phantom 5. If we do see a Phantom 5, it may be a little bit down the road. I mean, when you look at it from a marketing perspective, if you're the hot thing on the block and you're selling everything you put out there, why do you want to release something else? You know, there's damage that businesses can do to themselves by providing too much choice. You know, if you've got a successful product and it's selling well, why release all these other products? Quantity can be a good thing, but when you're doing something that's great, quantity can can create confusion and steer people away from the honey hole. So I think what DJI is doing, and again, I'm not a marketing expert by any means. I'm just a dude that, loves drones and technology and having a good time and big Maine Coon cats. Hey, Sean Coonery. Yeah. He said hello. But I do feel that what DJI has done is create not just a demand, but an obsession. If you look at Apple, and again, a lot of people have commented about this in the past, you look at Apple, you get Apple fanboys, people that are standing out in the line and waiting around, and, people that'll camp in a tent and pee on the street overnight just to get the first dibs on a new Apple device. And you're starting to see that same thing with DJI. Real estate student says, true, you can pretty much do what you want when you have no competitors. Very true. And that's kind of a scary thing too, because when people have no competitors, doing whatever you want to do, that can be damaging. It's not always a positive. But when you have no competition, you can continue to sell and continue to polish things up. And, I love DJI, and I hate to take a stab at them, but, look at the new Phantom 4 Pro version 2.0. Minor refresh. But for your uneducated drone buyer, the fact that it says 2.0, that could suggest something radically new. And that's one example of marketing. And again, to your point, real estate student, an example that illustrates what no competition can do for a company. And, I was surprised the Phantom 4 Pro version 2.0 didn't come in a variety of colors, because that was the spin they did the last time. Remember, they did the obsidian and the platinum. They gave a drone a paint job, and they created the perception that it was something new. That reduced the noise of propellers and released new propellers and created the perception that it was something new. And do people wonder, and this has been a recurring theme with the Mavic Air, and people are commenting on my Mavic Air videos all the time, which is great, but one of the recurring themes is, man, I love the Mavic Air, but those propellers are so noisy. Hey, I fly in safe and responsible locations. They do sound like a swarm of bees. It's never been a problem for me. With that said, do you think that the propeller noise that the Mavic Air propellers produce, do you think that may have been intentional? Well, if you're in the business of selling drones and you want to create an uproar, but you still want to deliver the best drone, in my opinion, the best drone on the market today, but you want to put something there that people will comment about, what's better than putting something that doesn't degrade the performance of the drone from a video and or stability perspective, but something that creates noise, something that people will talk about? And I think that's what DJI's done with the Mavic Air. They've got these and they're not loud for me. I mean, like I said, it sounds like a swarm of bees, no problem. SoCal Seth, welcome aboard, man. Welcome aboard. SoCal Seth, by the way, if you watch this channel, is one of the most loyal IrixGuy's Adventure channel viewers. And that's appreciated, because, again, this is an independent channel. I'm not part of a multi-channel network. Nothing wrong with that. If you are, that's perfectly acceptable. But I'm an independent channel, and it's your viewership, your subscriptions, you sharing with others that enables this channel to continue to exist and grow. And again, wanted to reiterate how appreciative I am of people supporting me on Patreon, patreon.com/IrixGuy. And I think I've got a link to that in the video's comments here. Let me see. Yeah, support IrixGuy on Patreon. So if you haven't done that, again, completely voluntary, but feel free to check it out, because I've had several people support me this week. And it's really cool to see that come through, because being an independent channel, that's something that can enable me to not only produce more content, but something that can really create some great things in the future. One of the big things that's coming to IrixGuy's Adventure channel is the DJI Ronin S. And you can check out my website. It's already available to order there. And hopefully I'll be getting mine soon. But the Ronin S is unlike the other Ronins that you may have seen in the past. A Ronin is a gimbal stabilizer for a variety of cameras. I'm going to use my Ronin S with my Sony a7 III. But just a way to capture drone-like stabilized video with a very high-end Sony Alpha or similar camera. So that's going to be super cool. But this thing right here, what continues to blow my mind, this little doohickey, this Mavic Air, how small, how lightweight, and how just a rock solid performer. But you know, again, out of the, I'm committed to keeping things real, and I will say right here, these little feet. You know, come on, DJI, these click down. Put some sort of switch in there where this drone won't power on if those are up, because it's so easy, despite their bright color, despite a pre-flight checklist, despite having flown the Mavic Air hundreds of times. It's still easy at times to forget. And not that I've damaged my drone, but landing with the landing gear up is not good for the drone and or the camera. You know, put some sort of switch in there where it won't power on if those are up. Likewise, again, and I keep reiterating this, DJI, I know you watch my channel, and I appreciate your product. It's great. Your products are great. But this thing right here, you did a better job with the gimbal cover for the Mavic Air. You did a better job. It's, you know, it's semi, you know, you can kind of see through it, but unless you're a complete idiot, you probably wouldn't try to film with this on, because if you look through it with your naked eye, you're like, man, that looks distorted. I can't see anything. It's apparent, or it should be apparent, that this is not to be flown with. But you still need to make it a bright color. You need to put something on that says, please remove before flight. And ultimately, see how that snaps in? Put your little switch in there. A switch that does that, and also this landing gear. So the drone knows that the landing gear are not down and the gimbal guard is not removed. If this, then that. If this is not off, if these are not down, do not allow the motors to start. But if this is removed and these landing gear are down, pushing the power button will enable the drone to start. Well, pushing the power button and then, you know, starting it with your controller to be safe. But just a few small pointers. I mean, if I was intelligent enough to design one of these on my own, I would do it. But I will admit weakness. I am not that smart. But I am smart enough to point out the flaws with your otherwise incredible product. And I mean, I'm not bashing you. No. Now, I will bash your Inspire all day. The Inspire is too big. The Inspire is too heavy. The Inspire should be discontinued. But the Mavic Air is an amazing step in a new direction that we have not yet completely explored. Why do we not have a 360-degree camera for the Mavic Air? Why did DJI acquire Hasselblad, that really elite and snooty camera company? Why did they acquire that company? But why have they not released a 360-degree spherical camera for a drone? What is it about 360-degree spherical, also known as VR, that makes people turn their cheek? Be an early adopter. You were early adopters within the drone arena, and you've slowly started to prove yourself. Why not take it to the next level? Especially when you don't have any competition. Why not take it to the next level and position yourself to be a buyout candidate? You can do it, DJI. All you got to do is try. And you've already done a great job. I mean, this drone right here is a true testament to how far these things have come. SoCal says, now if only solar technology was better, then you could fly longer. It was funny, I was having a conversation with a fellow nerd the other day. And we were talking about solar and drones. You know, how cool would it be to develop a drone that's, it wouldn't have to be super small, because it would need to be of significant size so that the panel could be of a decent size. But something lightweight something with a decent-sized solar panel that could continue to trickle charge itself, something so lightweight that could stay airborne, it would be a what's the word for it? An engineering feat. It would need to be lightweight enough to where it could stay airborne, and the size of the solar panel and the rate of trickle charge could keep up. So in other words, there's more fuel, in this case solar energy, coming into the system. That's the speed of that, it replenishes more quickly than it's consumed. Therefore, it can stay airborne for a longer period of time. I think that would be really cool. Why have we not seen solar for drones? And better yet, why have we not seen solar for the Apple Watch? I mean, the Apple Watch is cool. And when you look at an Apple Watch, you got it comes with a variety of straps. You can get a rubber strap. And why don't they, on an Apple Watch, put solar panels around the rubber strap? And then that way, when you're wearing your Apple Watch outside, it can continuously trickle charge. I mean, there's so many small things that seemingly forward-looking technological companies could try, and that seems to be a fear. That seems to be a huge fear nowadays. There's a trend among tech companies that, in the past it was try anything, see what works, see what doesn't work. In the past, it was try anything because I think a lot of tech companies at the time, they realized that the majority of people were not tech savvy enough to really perform their due diligence and decipher whether or not an idea is a pipe dream or something that could potentially become a reality with sufficient funding. But I think now your mainstream people, they're either disinterested, or if they are interested, they've probably performed enough of their own due diligence to realize that an idea is not investable. And I think it's that component that has steered a lot of would-be technological innovators away from wanting to innovate. They're afraid because, we're going to spend this money for R&D, research and development. We're going to spend this time thinking outside of the box. But we may do this and we may not receive anything in return. There's a huge risk. I mean, anytime that somebody tries to tackle something where there's not a cut and dry structured plan that was provided in the beginning, it's hard for someone to want to feel motivated, and hard for someone to allow themselves to go forward with developing an idea out of fear. And fear is something that frightens a lot of people. People are afraid of the unknown. And if someone really has an idea, no matter how much they're in, they're 100% committed to the development of a new technology emotionally. They're 100% committed financially, but it's the fear of the unknown, the fear of the market reaction that may deter a lot of people from otherwise bringing something exceptional to market. And when you do see these new innovations in tech, those are people, for the most part, those are people that assumed acceptable risk. And in some cases, they assumed too much risk, and they got lucky. Because if you look at a lot of, not to drop some names here, but if you look at a lot of could have been great startups and they flopped, and I mean, those people, they ruined their lives. They ruined the lives of a lot of their investors. I mean, obviously, a lot of sophisticated investors, they don't, if they buy a bad apple, it doesn't matter because they've got so many other hundreds of millions, it doesn't matter. But it's just a weird space. SoCal Seth says, I think a lot of that will start to progress since the economy is turning around. You know what? The economy is turning around, and again, not to get on a I preface this with not to get on a political rant, but there's no doubt the economy is improving, and it's a lot of people will say, and again, I'm not going to drop politicians' names this, that, or the other, but a lot of people will attribute success to an individual, but the way I like to look at the economy without looking at it from a political perspective is, we were close to bottoming out. I mean, everything was, the past few years, not just in the United States, but at a worldwide level, was horrible. And it's still horrible in a lot of places. So it's, when you start to see an economy slowly rebound, that's when people are like, man, well, I got this money. What can I turn it into? What can I invest in? What can I invest in now that will hopefully grow like the economy's growing? So you got a lot of people that, may have been down on their luck, but then the economy starts to rebound and they're like, how can I really turn pennies into thousands? What can I do? How can I invest this intelligently? So, I mean, it's one of those situations where, a down economy in a weird way was a blessing in disguise, because a down economy has created a new opportunity for people that are forward thinking, for people that are patient. Not necessarily too patient, but people that are willing to embrace the possibility of failure to reap an outstanding reward. I mean, think about it. Think to yourself, and I don't care what this dream may be, but just, close your eyes and think, where do you want to be in 5 years? Okay, think about that. And I know what I'm thinking about. So where do you want to be in 5 years? And then ask yourself, how did you get there? So at this point in time, you're seeing yourself there. You're in that environment. And you're surrounded by whatever you want. And how did you get there? And then ask yourself, was the risk that I assumed worth the reward? That's one way to look at it. So Cal said that beach behind you would be a good start. Yeah, that's actually I filmed this in Anguilla. In Anguilla, if you're not familiar with it, anytime I need a mental reboot, it's one of those places that I go to. Anguilla is in the British West Indies, and it's just a short boat ride across the little channel from St. Martin, which is French West Indies and Dutch West Indies. But this is actually, what is this? Was this Shoal? That was Meads Bay. That's Meads Bay behind me on Anguilla. One of the popular beaches. And, I like it a lot in Shoal Bay. And a lot of celebrities go down there. Justin Bieber goes down there a lot. Actually, what's her name? Paris Hilton, and this is news as of a few days ago, but she was spotted in St. Bart's, and St. Bart's is one of my favorite islands down there. It's the other side of St. Martin. Anguilla's on one side, St. Bart's is on the other. But yeah, it's whatever motivates you, and that's the thing today. A lot of people lack motivation. SoCal Seth, Hawaii is my reset place. Hawaii is a great place, and I will say the only drawback from the continental U.S., Hawaii is a very long flight. And when I think about my last trip to Hawaii, I went to Maui and Lanai. One of the things that stands out, and this is probably bad, and this is a lot of you will say this is a negative way to look at a positive experience. And the thing that stands out to me was going down there on a Delta. Oops, I dropped the airline's name, but it happens, so I can say it. On an MD-80. The MD-80 was a plane. I don't know if they still fly them anymore. This was back in 2009. But from LAX airport in California down to straight to Maui. It was a straight shot. Didn't have to land in Honolulu. Just went straight to Maui. But the air conditioner on the plane went out. And if you can imagine flying all the way from LAX to Maui with an air conditioner that was out, it got extremely hot. It was almost suffocating in there. And one of the things they did that, and again, it didn't provide any sort of, 5 to 7 hours. Yeah, that's a long flight. But it didn't provide any sort of real relief. But, again, this was in 2009, so it was after the tragedy during 2000. That's been so long ago. 2001 is when the trade centers went down. But, yeah, it was 2009, so it was many years after that. But they let people congregate towards the rear of the airplane. They were giving us free drinks. And those drinks tasted great, but, I mean, there's nothing. When you're out, if you can imagine being out in the hot sun, no matter what somebody's shoving in your face, it's cold and refreshing. when you're out in the hot sun, you want to drink that and you want to get relief. There was no relief. I mean, this was, like you said, SoCal Seth, this was a 5 or 7 hour flight. So, I mean, the only option was to, to bear it, or if it got too hot, that maybe they would have ditched in the ocean. And, I mean, that could have been catastrophic. So, that's my last trip to Hawaii that I think about. And that's why I love the Caribbean so much, just because it's a convenient flight from the mainland. And you get down there, and the Caribbean is growing, but it's not getting too commercialized yet. Although Turks and Caicos, the last time I was down in Providenciales, it was starting to blossom. I mean, you're getting a lot of high rises on Grace Bay, and I don't like that. I don't like the commercialization of an island, and that's where Grand Cayman really messed up. You go to 7 Mile Beach on Grand Cayman. I mean, you got the big resorts, and that just it makes the natural environment touristy, and I don't like that. SoCal says, I'm in Arizona, I know about heat. Yeah, that is some heat, man. Excuse me. I could not bear the Arizona heat. Real estate student says, do you think that DJI will run the drone world for another decade, or do you see any potential threats? Well, here's the thing. I don't understand people's hesitation to try to dethrone DJI. Or not, maybe they don't even care about dethroning DJI, but just, their initiative to want to compete. I don't see any people stepping up to the plate. I mean, you've got players like GoPro. GoPro failed. And again, my reasoning behind why GoPro failed is that they went public and they were ruled by the street. As a stock price controlling companies' moves. In the past, it was passion. When GoPro started, it was all about, Nick Woodman. He was a surfer. He developed a camera that would enable him to film his surfing activities, and that's how GoPro was born. Very effective camera. And, there were several iterations of that before GoPro went public. And when GoPro went public, it destroyed GoPro. They were rushing stuff to the plate. They were I don't think they were doing enough market research to know what their competition was doing. Karma, even if it hadn't been recalled, was a complete failure. They should have just scratched it, and they should have created something else. Better yet, they shouldn't have released it. So, yeah, GoPro did get slapped. And it's a shame. And I don't know why other people don't want to step up. I mean, if I was Google, if I was Apple, if I was Microsoft, I would want to step up and enter the game. I mean, drones, are they the future? Or are they just a hobby that we're temporarily obsessed with? Are drones the next 360-degree video or VR or, remember, 3D TV? Is it just a fly-by-night kind of trend? Or is it something here to stay? Maybe that's what's causing the big fish to hesitate. And that's the most challenging thing. It's not knowing why people are so standoffish when it comes to drones. And I mean, if I wasn't just an independent YouTube channel, I mean, if I had a few $1 million, maybe 10 or $20 million, I would become heavily involved with drones because I would want to invest and potentially turn that $20 million into $5 billion with the right marketing, with the right engineering staff, with the right aesthetics. It could, it's something that someone could do. And I just don't understand why people haven't done it. So, if you're out there, you're watching this, and you're looking to start a big drone startup company, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always willing to consider a business opportunity. I mean, I'm an independent YouTuber. I'm not a multimillionaire yet, and I want to be. So, think about that. SoCal says, I like drones, but that Boston Dynamics stuff is too freaky. I haven't even looked at Boston Dynamics. What's that? It sounds cool. It makes me sounds like some sort of beer or something. Yeah, so I mean we've got I mean there's just so much stuff, and I don't know. Technology is something that it's easy to love it, but it's also easy to become confused. You know, why? Why does this not work? Why do people like this? Why do people not like that? SoCal says, I'll send you some videos. It's those robots that open doors and climb stairs. That sounds cool. Yeah, shoot some videos over if you don't mind, man, on the facebook.com/IrixGuy. Yeah, and that's the other thing. You know, a lot of people are afraid of... I do a lot of turking. You know, it sounds kind of funny. I don't know if you've heard of turking, but it's Amazon Mechanical Turk. So basically they're called human... HITS, HITS, Human Intelligent Task. So what you can do, if you're an Amazon Turker, you sign up, and you know if you get approved, then what you can do, you can log in and work these a lot of surveys. There's a lot of mind games, this sort of thing, but most all of them pay, and it's not a big amount, but it can add up. But what I've noticed by turking, mechanical turking on Amazon Turk, is that a recurring theme has been robotics and people's perception of robotics in the workplace. Not robotics, but people's perception of robots in the workplace. So it's a situation where it seems that the big money right now, to your point, they're trying to fill out from a perception perspective how people potentially would welcome or not welcome a robot into their workplace. Because I mean, you gotta think about it. There's a lot of fears, and as you just mentioned with the Terminator movies, I mean that's one of the fears. You know, you think of a robot, you think of something that is a lot stronger than a typical human. It probably doesn't possess the self-control that a human has. You know, as we know, most any electronic equipment can malfunction. Well, imagine if you have something malfunction that could potentially be harmful. So that's a fear. And then the other fear that's created by the thought of introducing robots into the workplace is competition. I mean, if you're doing a job and it can be replaced by a robot, then you become no longer, you know, you're of no value. So you're replaced by a robot. But what some people don't think about is that if robots do become a core component of the workplace, that it actually may introduce new jobs. Dat Ditto, welcome aboard, bro. Dat Ditto. And that's something that people don't necessarily think about. Because when you're bringing something so new into an environment, without a doubt there's going to be the demand created to support that new technology. So I don't know how I feel about robots in the workplace. I mean, there's most every workplace is similar, but if you polled a lot of people, probably one of the recurring themes would be, and this with or without robots, you know, in a workplace environment, you would find people that feel things are unfair. Within a workplace environment, you would find people that feel certain people are privileged. You would find some people that would feel that the street dictates their day-to-day jobs, the street being Wall Street, when you're dealing with publicly traded companies. I mean, there's a lot of opinions that are very similar. Dat Ditto says $1. What's $1, man? That is cool. Cool. Awesome. So that means, and you got to enlighten me on this. So the fact that $1 came up, awesome, man. That is super cool. So there's a feature now where you can contribute to the chat. Is that what it is? Dude, man, that is mad support. And for that, he donated $1. For that, I'm going to bring a special treat over here. Hold on just a second. This is just for you, Dat Ditto. Yeah. Hey, we've got to celebrate. He said, this is, see, hey, Sean Kennery, check that out. You see that right there? That's Ditto. Dat Ditto donated $1 to the channel. Check that out. Whoa, that is cool. That is very cool. And again, thanks, dude. That's epic. Again, that is beyond awesome that that you chose to support. And everyone out there, you can also go to patreon.com/IrixGuy if you choose to do so, and you can support the channel there as well. But I mean, that is cool. You know, pop open a live show, Dat Ditto comes in, drops $1 this way. I mean, that is some epic. That is an epic show of respect, and I appreciate that. Very cool. Got me excited there. Dat Ditto. Awesome. So yeah, back to got distracted by that Ditto, but you know, back to the robots in the workplace. I mean, this is the future, and whether we like it or not, it's one of those things where it's probably going to happen. I mean, people are going to have to integrate with robots at some point. And what's going to be really cool, oh man, appreciate it. Hey, good luck with, yeah, Patreon's a tough beast, man. It really is. So we need to prepare ourselves as a human race to be integrated with robots. It's going to be interesting stuff. This battery life, this is funny. I don't have the, I'm running this with a 13-inch MacBook Pro, and the battery life since I started is down to 54% because I don't have the charger in. This will really suck the juice when you're doing a live stream. You've got a 4K camera. Now, obviously, you won't see this live in 4K, I don't think, but it is a 4K camera. And then this Blue Yeti microphone. It really sucks the juice out. SoCal says, thanks for the links, man. I'll check them out. But yeah, we June the 4th. Y'all know what that is? It's Monday, but what is June the 4th? No guesses? Hey, Sean Cooner, do you know what June the 4th is? Excuse me. June the 4th is WWDC. So if you're an Apple fanboy like I am, no telling what's coming. I bet we're going to get new iPhones. Probably going to get a new MacBook Pro, maybe an i9 MacBook Pro. Lots of good stuff coming. It's always good. I don't know if y'all like to watch Applesauce Cake Day. Hey. Exactly right. Applesauce, they're going to lay that sauce on thick, man. You know, no telling what they're going to release. It's always fun to watch, and I miss Steve Jobs, rest in peace. But Tim Cook does a pretty good job on stage. I mean, he's not Steve Jobs, but he does a good job. SoCal says, like my MacBook and iPad, but not an Apple junkie. Apples are expensive, but, you know, I will say, it's one of those things, once you enter the ecosystem, speaking of that, they released Messages in iCloud with iOS 11.4 that released a few days ago. But that unfortunately only works, Messages in iCloud, unfortunately only works with the iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. It's not yet available in macOS, and there's still no word on watchOS. So the concept behind it is that Messages in iCloud, if you deleted a text from one device, that in theory it should delete them from all. But right now it's only going to work if you've got the latest update and you're using an iPad, an iPhone, or iPod Touch. That's kind of lame. SoCal says, have you seen Bill Burr's bit on Steve Jobs? I have not, man. I've got to check that out. Hey, Sean Coonery. Yeah. What's it all about? You want to get back on the camera? No, he said he wants to sit down there. He said he wants to sit on the beach. Dat Ditto says 59,000 subs are only 4 views. Mad respect. Very cool. SoCal says, I'll send you that too. Very cool. Yeah, Sean Cooner's up here talking. He's like, man, you finally got that studio lighting fixed. He said it was a mess. He said he prefers the new lighting. Yep. He said he likes the new lighting in the studio. Well, everyone, I'm gonna wrap this one up, and I've got I don't want to spoil the fun, but well, I'll go ahead and spoil it since y'all are watching live. But I'm gonna go out to a battlefield, and there may be some reenactments and all kinds of cool stuff. Whoa! So stay tuned for that. Gonna try to incorporate some history into IrixGuy's Adventure channel. Just mix up the content a little bit, but again, I really appreciate everyone's support. SoCal Seth, man, you're the man. You're here all the time, and that's greatly appreciated. Dat Ditto, very cool donation. I mean, that is, again, it's not about the money here, but when you choose to donate, that is epic. I mean, that is like the most epic show of support that anyone can give. So I really appreciate that. And everyone else that may not have spoken, let's see, did I miss anyone? Real estate agent student, welcome aboard. And if you're still a student, I wish you luck, man. Hopefully you get that, hopefully you pass that exam. And SoCal says, I do what I can, but we'll have to collab sometime. Yeah, always open for YouTube collabs. And actually, it's good you mentioned that, because this new tool, this new live streaming setup that I'm using, it has the ability to bring in remote guests. So maybe we can, the next few days are going to be pretty tight. I've got a few projects that are going on. But maybe we can try to figure out a time and set up a collab time and do, both face on video, and be thinking about topics if there's anything in particular, because it doesn't just have to be across the board banter. I mean, we can, maybe have a structured discussion, maybe even about robots. I mean, I think the robots are something very cool and current, and something that a lot of people are curious about. So with that being said, appreciate everyone's viewership. Thanks again for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. It's youtube.com/IrixGuy. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day. Let me get into my thing here and figure this out here. Oh, I've got two of these windows open. How did I do that? Oh, here's the other one. My interface changed. Let's see if I roll this up. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.